Have you ever imagined what it would feel like if two completely different worlds suddenly crossed paths? Not on a stage. Not in front of thousands of cameras. Just one quiet moment, one genuine smile, and a little girl meeting someone she had only ever seen through stories, music, and the excitement of the people around her. You guys, imagine this. The final celebration had just come to an end. The cheers that had shaken the stadium only minutes ago were slowly fading into the night, replaced by the distant sounds of crew members packing equipment and security guiding guests through the backstage corridors. The bright floodlights no longer felt overwhelming. Instead, everything seemed softer, calmer, almost magical. It was the kind of silence that only comes after something unforgettable. And somehow, that wasn't even the most beautiful moment of the evening. Backstage, artists, athletes, and special guests were exchanging congratulations. Some laughed together while others paused to capture memories before everyone returned to their own busy schedules. Among them was Jimin. Still dressed in a simple outfit after changing out of his performance clothes, he looked nothing like the superstar who had captivated millions only moments before. His makeup had been softened. His hair had relaxed naturally. There was no spotlight following him now. Yet somehow, he still seemed to carry his own light. How does he even do that? Even without the stage. Even without the music. He had that quiet warmth that made people feel comfortable before he even said a single word. As he walked through the hallway, staff members greeted him with respectful smiles. Some waved. Some thanked him for the incredible performance. Jimin bowed politely every single time. The same gentle smile. The same humble energy. Nothing forced. Nothing exaggerated. Just Jimin. But a few rooms away, someone much smaller was experiencing a completely different kind of excitement. Little Helena had been quietly holding her father's hand for several minutes. She wasn't running around like most children. She wasn't asking for toys. Instead, her curious eyes kept looking toward one particular hallway. Every few seconds. Again. And again. As if she was waiting for someone. Her father noticed. "What are you looking at?" he asked with a smile. Helena hesitated for a second before pointing shyly toward the corridor. "I think that's where Jimin is." For a brief moment, everything became quiet. Neymar smiled warmly. He had seen this excitement before. Not just from football fans. Not just from children. But from people of every age who admired artists capable of bringing genuine happiness into the world. "You want to say hello?" he asked gently. She nodded almost immediately. Then stopped. What if he's busy? The innocence of that question melted everyone's heart. Children rarely worried about interrupting adults. But somehow, she did. And honestly, doesn't that make this moment even sweeter? Neymar knelt beside her. "If he has time, I'm sure he'd be happy to meet you." Those simple words were enough to make her eyes sparkle again. But just when it seemed like they might walk toward the hallway, something unexpected happened. A group of production staff suddenly passed between them. Large equipment cases rolled across the corridor. Several photographers hurried by. Security politely asked everyone to wait for a few moments. The path disappeared. The opportunity. Gone. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. Can we talk about timing for a second? Isn't it funny how the moments we remember forever almost never happen easily? There's always a pause. A delay. Something that makes us wonder if the moment will ever come. Helena simply waited. Patiently. She didn't complain. She didn't cry. She just looked toward the hallway once again. Almost hoping. Almost believing. Several minutes passed. Then, footsteps. Soft. Unhurried. The hallway became quiet again. Staff members instinctively stepped aside. Someone was approaching. You couldn't even see who it was yet. Only the reactions. Smiles appeared first. Then respectful bows. A few whispered greetings. And slowly, a familiar figure came into view. It was Jimin. Walking with the same calm expression that millions of fans recognized instantly. Not rushing. Not surrounded by chaos. Just peacefully greeting everyone he passed. Helena froze. Completely froze. The excitement she had been carrying suddenly turned into nervousness. She grabbed her father's hand just a little tighter. "That's him," she whispered. So quietly. Only the people closest to her could hear. Jimin hadn't noticed them yet. He was thanking one of the event coordinators for their hard work. Then another staff member wished him a safe trip. He smiled. Bowed again. And continued walking. Little by little. The distance between them became shorter. 20 steps. 15. 10. Can you imagine what must have been going through Helena's mind? The person she'd only seen on screens. The artist whose performances looked almost unreal. Was now only a few feet away. No stage. No giant screens. Just real life. Then something incredibly simple happened. Jimin happened to glance toward the family standing nearby. Their eyes met for only a fraction of a second. Yet somehow, it felt much longer. Helena immediately looked down. Too shy to keep eye contact. You guys. That tiny reaction felt so real. No dramatic music. No screaming crowd. Just the kind of nervous smile almost everyone has experienced at least once in their lives. Jimin noticed. His expression softened instantly. Instead of continuing to walk, he slowed down. Then, he stopped. Not because anyone asked him to. Not because cameras were pointing at him. Simply because he sensed someone waiting quietly. He offered a small wave. Nothing flashy. Just one gentle movement of his hand. Helena looked up again. For a split second, she couldn't believe he was waving at her. She glanced around as if to make sure. Me? She whispered. Her father smiled and nodded. Yes. You. The smile that appeared on Helena's face at that exact moment could have brightened the entire hallway. Pure joy. Pure surprise. Pure childhood. And honestly, that wasn't even the moment that made everyone emotional. Because Jimin wasn't finished yet. After exchanging a few polite words with the nearby staff, he slowly walked closer, making sure not to overwhelm the shy little girl. No sudden movements. No loud greetings. Just the same gentle kindness he had shown to everyone all evening. He lowered himself slightly so they were almost at eye level. Hi, he said softly. One simple word. Yet somehow, it felt like the entire hallway stopped breathing. Helena opened her mouth to answer. But no words came out. She smiled. Then giggled nervously. Then hid behind her father's arm for just a second before peeking out again. The adults nearby couldn't help smiling. Even security members exchanged amused glances. It was such a small interaction. But somehow, it felt bigger than the stadium itself. Jimin laughed softly, not at her, but with the kind of warmth that instantly reassured children. It's okay, he said gently. You don't have to be nervous. And almost as if those words carried a little bit of magic, Helena slowly stepped forward. Just one tiny step. Then another. Her eyes finally met Jimin's once more. This time, she didn't look away. And at that exact moment, something happened that no one standing in that hallway would ever expect. For what felt like an eternity, no one said a word. The hallway that had been filled with footsteps and conversations only moments earlier suddenly became unbelievably quiet. It wasn't because someone had asked everyone to be silent. It just happened. Almost as if everyone instinctively understood that this tiny moment deserved to be protected. Helena finally looked up again. This time, she didn't hide behind her father. She took one careful step forward. Then another. Jimin remained exactly where he was, never rushing the moment, never trying to make her respond before she was ready. His gentle smile never disappeared, and there was something incredibly comforting about the way he simply waited. Sometimes kindness isn't loud. Sometimes kindness is patience. And honestly, wasn't that exactly what made this feel so special? The little girl took a deep breath. I like your songs, she whispered, almost too quietly to hear. For a second, Jimin looked genuinely surprised. Then his eyes curved into that familiar crescent smile Army knows so well. Thank you, he answered softly. That means a lot. There was no dramatic speech. No grand gesture. Just a sincere reply that somehow made the atmosphere even warmer. Helena's nervousness slowly faded. She smiled a little wider. I watch your videos with my family. Jimin chuckled gently. Really? She nodded enthusiastically. My favorite part is when everyone smiles. You guys. Can we just stop for a second? Children have this incredible way of seeing the world differently. While adults often remember records, awards, and achievements. She remembered. People smiling. Jimin seemed deeply touched by her answer. For a brief moment, he lowered his gaze as if quietly reflecting on those words. Then he looked back at Helena. I'm happy they make you smile too. Nearby staff members exchanged emotional glances. Even people who had been busy with equipment slowed down without realizing it. No one wanted to interrupt. It felt less like watching celebrities. And more like witnessing two human beings sharing an honest, uncomplicated moment. Neymar watched everything with a proud smile. As a father, there was something beautiful about seeing his daughter overcome her shyness. As someone who understood life in the public eye, he also recognized the importance of moments like these, small gestures that often meant far more than headlines ever could. He quietly thanked Jimin for taking the time. Jimin immediately bowed politely. It's my pleasure. That answer came so naturally that it didn't feel rehearsed. It simply sounded genuine. And just when everyone thought the meeting had already become unforgettable, something else happened. One of the staff members noticed Helena holding a tiny purple bracelet. It wasn't expensive. It wasn't professionally made. It looked like something carefully assembled by small hands. Colorful beads. Tiny hearts. One little charm shaped like a star. Jimin noticed it too. Did you make that? Helena looked down at the bracelet before smiling shyly. I did. For you. The hallway fell silent once again. No one expected that. She had carried it with her the entire evening. Just in case. Just in case she somehow had the chance to meet him. Can you imagine that? A child preparing a tiny handmade gift without knowing whether the moment would ever happen. Jimin looked genuinely moved. He slowly accepted the bracelet with both hands, treating it as though it were something incredibly precious. Thank you. I'll treasure it. Those 5 words were enough. Helena's eyes lit up brighter than ever. She couldn't stop smiling. Neither could anyone else. Even a few staff members quietly wiped away tears. Not because anything dramatic had happened, but because sincerity has a way of reaching people without asking permission. Then Jimin did something wonderfully unexpected. He asked Helena if she would like to take a picture together. Her eyes widened. Really? Of course. Instead of standing formally, Jimin crouched beside her so they would be at the same height. No superstar pose. No attempt to steal attention. Just one warm smile shared with a little girl who would probably remember this day for the rest of her life. The camera clicked. Once. Twice. 3 times. Every single photo captured genuine happiness. No one needed instructions. No one needed to say, smile. Everyone already was. As the photos ended, Helena gathered enough courage to say one last thing. I hope you always stay happy. It was such a simple sentence. Yet it carried an honesty that immediately touched everyone's heart. Jimin smiled softly. I'll do my best. And you promise me something too? Helena tilted her head. Keep smiling. She nodded without hesitation. I promise. For a brief second, they linked pinkies. Just a tiny pinky promise. Nothing more. Yet somehow, it became the moment everyone would remember most. Not because it was spectacular, but because it was real within this imagined story. It reminded everyone that genuine kindness often lives inside the smallest gestures. As Jimin prepared to leave, Helena waved enthusiastically. This time there was no hesitation. No nervousness. Only pure happiness. Jimin turned around one last time before disappearing down the hallway. He waved back with the same bright smile. Then he was gone. The corridor slowly returned to normal. People continued packing equipment. Security resumed guiding guests. Conversations started again. Life moved forward. But the feeling stayed. Long after the footsteps faded. Long after the lights dimmed. Long after the evening came to an end. Honestly, maybe that's why moments like this remain so unforgettable. Not because they are loud. Not because they break records. But because they quietly remind us that kindness can leave a lasting impression. A smile can become a memory. A few gentle words can become a story.